It's like to welcome Christine McGuinness into the studio. We're always bumping into you somewhere, the train station or an event or in a TV studio, whatever. And I often think about how difficult Christine's life is, because not only is she a mum of 3 children, she's a mum of 3 children with autism, and she understands the challenges of living, because autism is a hidden disability.
It is a hidden disability, and Christine's always, you know, you're always trying to raise awareness, aren't you, of living with autism, and some of the difficulties that her family have faced are all featured in a new documentary, which is tonight at 7:30 on ITV.
So when you were confronted like that, Christine, do you try to explain or do you walk away? I mean, because it must be quite intimidating to be confronted like that.
Yeah, I try to explain. Any opportunity, if I can educate anyone, if I can help people understand more about autism, I'll try and explain. But obviously there's a time and a place, and in a car park, it's not the safest place for me and my children anyway. As I've just explained in that clip there, Leo's behaviour especially can be quite unpredictable, and that's why I applied for a blue badge. They've got no awareness of danger. You know, they can run off at times, and I'm outnumbered, especially when I'm on my own with 3 young children. It's scary anyway for children, but for children with additional needs that have got no awareness of danger, a car park for me is a really frightening place to be.
Because I know you say that you don't always use a disabled space. You often think of other people, you think if it looks busy, or maybe go to a quieter place. So you're very mindful of other people with disabilities.
Yeah, there's parent and child places as well. I'll use them if I can. You know, I've got 3 children with autism. I've only applied for 1 blue badge because I know I can cope with the girls most of the time. And with Leo, if it's just me and Leo, I'll try and manage wherever I can. But he has a lot more hospital appointments than the girls do, and that's where his anxiety is already building up, because we've got, you know, therapy appointments.
Why do you think, Christine, that there is still a lack of awareness and understanding about autism?
I think, unfortunately, unless you live with it, you really just don't get it. You know, I don't know any different now. All 3 of my children are autistic, and that's all I know. So I can see it and I can spot it. I'll be out and about doing my shopping and I can kind of see it in adults and children. I try to keep an open mind and remember that not everyone can see it like I can. So that's why when this man did come over and approach me about parking there, I didn't get angry. I just stayed calm. And
but then could I ask you, so what would the problem be with you applying for a blue badge?
So applying for a blue badge, in the past, it's always just been about physical disability. Now, in 2019, they did change it, which is great. They changed it to include invisible disabilities like autism. The process itself is still quite difficult. It can take a long time to give all your evidence. You have to give proof of how it affects you, how, you know, what difference is it going to make to have a blue badge. Especially if your child or whoever you're looking after can physically walk, then people will say, well, why do you need a blue badge? But sometimes it's mentally that you might need it. It's a long, difficult process, and I understand that they just have to do that. It's protocol, you know, so that people don't take advantage of the system. So I totally understand, but it's just a really difficult thing to go through. And the longest you can get one for is 3 years, which, again, I try to stay calm and understand, and I always keep an open mind, but autism isn't going to expire like that badge will expire. It's a lifelong disability. So I think for lifelong disabilities, it should be a lifelong badge.
What about people accusing your children of being badly behaved? I have a friend whose son has autism, and she said that she always found that very difficult when he was young, that he might be having a moment and people are glaring at her in that kind of can't you control your child kind of way.
I mean, you cannot punish a child for sensory overload. That's not their fault. If they're having a meltdown because of everything what's going on around them is too much, you can't punish a child for that. You've got to comfort them and look after them. And anyone who's around, you can't take any notice of that. My focus is always on the children. There has been times where I've heard upsetting comments, you know, like you've just said, control your child or what's wrong with them, things like that. But my focus always remains on them.
What would you like people to do in that situation? Would you like them to offer you help?
I think just, you know, just stay quiet if you've got nothing nice to say. If you want to offer to help, lovely, great, you know, as long as you're going to be kind. I think just in general, society could all just be a little bit kinder to each other.
Christine, you amaze me. I've known you for a few years now. You've always wanted to be a mum. You take the responsibility very, very seriously. But you're not a normal mum in many ways. I mean, you and Paddy are very successful, you're high profile. You could afford help if you wanted it, yet you take this on, and Paddy, great guy that he is, we must spend half his life in some other part of the world,
Driving
really.
cars.
Yeah. Driving cars.
Yeah. So that leaves you on your own a lot with children at twins at 8 years of age and a 4-year-old as well, the 3 of whom have autism.
Yeah.
Why do you not want to accept help?
I always wanted to be a mum. That's all I ever wanted. My mum was a single parent with 3 young children with no money. I just think if she can do it, I can. And yeah, they have got additional needs, but I don't know any difference. I just wanted to be a mum, and I am a mum, and that's all I ever wanted to do. I think we will get to the point one day, especially as I'm working more, we're going to have to get help. To be honest, I wouldn't know where to start. And it scares me, the thought of someone else looking after my children. So we try and juggle
and
it.
It might scare them as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
The programme tonight that we're going to say, What's the Truth with Hidden Disabilities? The fact that they have autism, and the 3 of them have autism, are you able to go into the fact whether this is hereditary, whether this is genetic? Was there a reason behind, you and Paddy being the parents to these children?
Yeah, absolutely. We're actually doing another documentary as well at the BBC where we're exploring this a lot more because we want to know why and how this has happened. I believe there is a genetic link there. It's not proven yet, but everyone that we spoke to, different paediatricians, doctors, nurses, everyone seems to think that there is a genetic link there.
It'll be interesting to find out. How are they all at the moment? Leo and Penelope,
They're doing
8. I can't believe they're 8
I
now.
know, my twins are 8, and then my little Felicity, she's almost 5. She's going to start school in September. They're doing so well. I'm so proud of them, the way that they coped throughout the lockdown with all the changes. You know, that was difficult for us. So can you imagine for children who really struggle with change anyway? You know, they've been through it this past year, but they've just done incredible. And even with having almost a year off school, they've just got all grade A's pretty much. They're just amazing.
They're smart like their mummy.
Yeah.
So amazing.
And do you discuss autism with them?
Do they know they're autistic?
No, it's something that we haven't spoke about yet. So we discuss it around them. We've never hidden the word autism. We've always spoke about it, but they've never asked about it, and they don't feel any different. They're in an amazing school that's mixed. There's loads of children there with all different abilities, disabilities, so they're around a good mixture of people. They don't feel any different to anybody else, and I don't want them to feel that way just yet. To me, they're just amazing and fabulous. I don't want to give them any
You just wait
worries.
until if they ask, then you'll explain.
Yeah, I don't want
it
it to be like a big bombshell moment because
Yeah.
it shouldn't be. They should just be accepted for as they are.
There'll be a lot of parents, so there'll be family members watching you this morning and relating to you because this affects their families as well. And as Ruth said, her and I, we know parents of autistic children, and we know it can be tough. It can be very, very tough. What is the message you would like to get out there for people who would watch this programme tonight and indeed your upcoming BBC documentary on this?
Just if you've got autistic children yourself, especially those who are just being diagnosed, I get a lot of messages off parents that are really struggling to come to terms with it, that the children are not what they thought they were going to be. I can tell you now they're probably going to be better than what you thought they were going to be. They're incredible children. It does get easier. It really does. I didn't believe it when someone told me years ago it will get better. It really does. With love and support, anything is possible. And I just think for the rest of society in general, just be kinder to everyone.
Lovely, lovely thought.
Very good message.
For this day. Good message, Christine. Lovely seeing you again.
And you, thanks so much for having me.
Is he off in a car somewhere?
He's just a glorified taxi driver, my husband. That's all he does.
He's a very funny man. Very, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christine.
Lovely
So
to see
that's
you.
Hidden Disabilities, What's the Truth? That's tonight at 7:30 on ITV.